today we are very happy that we will actually be having a very interesting conversation with Mr. Dušan Borovčanin, who has actually been on our podcast before. So he will not add to the number of guests, but he will add to the number of episodes. And we will be talking with him about his new role. Because our first podcast was when he was in charge of the Serbia Convention Bureau, and now as the director of the Expo 2027 in Belgrade.
So Dušan, how does it feel in your new role? You know, we all know you as the director of Serbia Convention Bureau, but now in this new role, how does it feel?
Well, now after a year and a half, more how would I say? I'm kind of more accustomed to the new role. But before I start, I would like to express my gratitude first of all for the invitation, and then congratulations for the organization once again for the incredible event here in Ljubljana.
Thank you, Dušan.
Thank you, Dušan. Dušan, what will be the long-term legacy of Expo 2027? And let me add to that, how will it change Belgrade?
I think it will change it in many different ways. We are speaking about a mega event, and mega events, of course, have mega impact in many different areas, from economic impact to social impact, environmental impact as well. My personal goal, and I would rather speak about this, is because Serbia, and I guess a lot of people here in the audience are aware, is a rather small country in the world. And for us, this has been a historical opportunity to get the trust from the countries to host an event of this kind. And I think a long-term legacy for Belgrade, for Serbia, but I would dare to say for the entire region, would be 10, 15 years after the Expo. I would love to see a new generation feeling more confident that they can do great stuff and bring mega events to this region, and not just mega events, but indeed our bid was against 5 serious competitors: Spain, USA, Thailand, and Argentina. And honestly, very few people dare to believe that we are capable of bringing this event. So my hope is that 10, 15 years from now, we'll have a new generation feeling more confident really that they can do great stuff and being proud of what happened in Belgrade and in the region 10, 15 years before.
Dušan, I think this is your first public appearance in Slovenia, or not? Am I right? I'm asking this because I would like to ask you to share some data, because I already heard about it, but these are some huge numbers you need to know about. So what can you say about that?
Well, when we're speaking about a specialized expo, there are several, big numbers, like you said, Gorazd. First of all, we're expecting around 120 plus countries to participate. By this, I mean the countries will come, build their own pavilions, present themselves throughout the 3 months. The expo lasts 93 days. That's one very interesting figure. Also, apart from that, we are anticipating and expecting to receive around 6 million visitors. So during the bid, we were anticipating 4 million, but when we started developing our operational plan in the last year and a half, we realized we'll most probably, face 6 million visitors. So already in itself, that's a huge number as well. And I think if you look, I don't know, whatever part of the project, the number of volunteers, the number of people that will be working for the project, these figures are just huge. We're anticipating in between 20 and 30,000 volunteers, in between 5 to 10,000 people working every day on site. Like I said, around 120 nations being present in Belgrade. So indeed, yeah, it's a huge project, really.
It's a true mega event.
Yes.
And it will be one of the largest events, not just in Serbia, but in region. Probably comparable only to the Olympics in the Athens, I would dare to say.
Yes. Yeah.
What is the total investment into such a project?
First of all, I would just go back, to how big and important the event is for the region. And I honestly believe in this because even during the bid, of course, Belgrade is the host. But, speaking in all honesty, when we were promoting the event for some countries that are far away from Serbia, Belgrade, or the region, they're not coming just for Belgrade. or for Serbia. Caribbean, Pacific Island countries, Far East countries, or Latin American countries. For them, they're coming really for the region to explore business opportunities, to get to know the region more better in terms of tourism, of course, and visitors that will come to explore the region, but also just understanding what are our capacities and what they can do more within this region. And I think in that regard, really, the region of Western Balkans or Southeast Europe, it's really the region that is hosting this event. Comparing to some of the previous events, I think, although I was small and also not born in some cases, people are here remembering, the Winter Olympics in Sarajevo, or the non-aligned movement in Belgrade, the meeting of the non-aligned movement in Belgrade. And these memories from these events last for a very long time. For decades, people have, a nostalgia. But if you just look at the numbers, these events lasted for 10 days or 2 weeks and hosted around 20 countries. And we are here speaking about an event that is lasting 93 days and will host more than 100 countries. So already in that regard, I think we are aiming to achieve more. Regarding the investment, we can, or the costs of the event, we can split it out into capital investments and operational costs. The overall investment within the infrastructure that is being developed, because we're speaking about a whole new urban development within the city of Belgrade, it's estimated at 1.4 billion euros, and that includes the line infrastructure, the new Belgrade Trade Fair ground, 1,500 residential units for the international participants, one museum thematic district, a new national stadium, railway that will be connecting the site and the pier at the Sava River. So it's a huge, completely new urban development of the city of Belgrade.
Sounds like you're rebuilding Belgrade.
Almost. I think for the first time we have, because this is the completely undeveloped area of Belgrade, and for the first time I think we are doing it in a proper way. First, bringing the infrastructure, the transportation, all the communal infrastructure that will allow for the city to further develop. And of course, we are building some anchor facilities like the Belgrade Trade Fair ground, national stadium, that are anticipating a big communication. So that is to say, a large number of people that will come there, and this is expected to drive further investment and connect that part of the city with the current new Belgrade area that we call.
So Dušan, metro will be open then, or not yet? In 2027?
Metro lines, unfortunately not. They are scheduled to open in 2028, but the railway that will be connecting the airport to the expo site and the city center is expected to be fully operational by then.
Tell us more about the slogan, the play for humanity. What is all about? Can you explain a little bit about it?
Yes, it was in 2022 when everything started. So it was January 2022. Every competing countries, and I will repeat, those were Minnesota, USA. Joe Biden signed the candidacy back then. Spain with Malaga, King Felipe VI, a lot of celebrities endorsing these candidatures, and every competing country and the city had to propose a theme and the slogan. And that's the difference with the Specialized and World Expos. And it was tough in 2022 to suggest something for 2027. We just exited from from one of the largest pandemics in the last century. And after that, all the supply chains were broken down. We faced energy crisis and conflicts. And we were looking at the future. And, in all honesty, to suggest the theme that would be relevant for the future, it was really hard. So we said what the future will look like. And the real answer was we don't know. What we knew is that one word was prevailing in all reports, if you read from international organizations, and that was uncertainty. And we thought, how to empower individuals, how to empower the community, and also you have to allow countries to present themselves for 3 months, to present themselves in a physical sense, to have their own exhibitions and pavilions, but also in terms of the content and programming. And that's difficult. Sometimes, and usually expos, they suggest the topics that are sometimes distant to the regular human, like, the future of the ocean, or space race, or the future of energy, which are all super relevant, but sometimes, like I said, they're tend to be distant, from regular human. And we then came up with this theme or the slogan where play is in its center, with sport and music as accompanying elements. And when you think of play, I think you can think of many different perspectives. You can think of it as a scientific field, how it drives creativity, innovation. Play is something that I think connected us when we were children, we were small. We don't even have to speak the same language. It helped, and sparked some of the most advanced scientific discoveries. But it's also a central element in sport and music, which has a huge power to bring people together. And our idea and hope is that in 2027, the world will come together. And hopefully, we will be the place of the largest celebration of the recovery of the world.
It sounds like you will have a lot of communication to do. There will be a lot of social media posts, there will be a lot of pictures, there will be a lot of content, a lot of explaining of what you're trying to achieve. So how will you actually measure the impacts and your success?
Well, first of all, we are not planning to do it alone. I think we'll do it, with the professionals that did it several times for mega events already. But in terms of the impact, like I said, I think we have several streams. The most talked or the how would I say, the one that it comes to mind to every single person is the economic impact. Why are we investing 1.4 billion? And will we have any return on that from this event? And of course, there is a reasoning behind it. And we are not, first of all, this infrastructure and capital investments, you're not building just to return it from the 3 months event's time. This is to stay, but you're speeding up the process of returning this investment. And then on the social side, you have many aspects on how this can, increase and have an effect on our population. And then, of course, there's a bilateral or multilateral effect that is one of a kind, I think. With expos, the thing is that every single day there is a national day of one country. That is like that country during that day is the main, is the boss during the expo. And it is usually followed with the visit from the high-level delegation. So I think it's just open up the space, of course, for Serbia, to not just during the 2027, but leading up to the 2027, to discuss further opportunities and possibilities. How do we develop our future cooperation? I don't know, with Latin America, with Western Europe, with People's Republic of China, with Pacific Island countries, with Africa. And then, of course, it's the opportunity for other countries that will be present there and have the possibility that and the fact that 120 countries will be present in Belgrade and to improve their relations. So in terms of impact, I think it's just there are some intangible things that you can't really put on a P&L, and say, okay, this will be the financial effect of this event.
Your super cool young team is working hard. It's growing day by day, as far as I know. So what is the status report so far, and what do you plan for by the end of the year? Because Expo is coming fast. How big will be your team? And yeah, one more question. We are here event professionals, so what's in for us? How can we participate in this huge mega event? The regional players, agencies, everybody around here actually.
Listen, I think, first of all, I would love the two of you to come back to Belgrade and support me, because you're event professionals in the argumentation, because even, even the decision makers from the government, they sometimes, face it hard to realize why do we need a high marketing budget, because if we are aiming to promote this event globally, it costs money, of course. And I think, but that is not something we should hide or run away from. It's actually, the reason why countries are aiming to, host these events. In terms of the number of people, it's also very challenging. I have to be honest with you. I'm very happy that we have a mix. We have a lot of young people working for the expo, but also we have a mix of experienced professional. The hardest part was really to find and recruit them last year, because when we started from scratch with just a few of us in the office, and everybody is aware that once the event ends, The future within the organizational committee is dubious. So we had to find professionals who are keen on devoting 3 or 4 years of their career, working relentlessly to make this happen, and then have an uncertain future. But it's also quite a motivational and an inspirational tool we use to bring people. Currently, we sit around 100 people, which is, I think, a success looking back where we came from. But I think these figures will just go double, triple, and quadruple in the months to come.
You mentioned that you have discussions about the meaning of creating such a mega event. And I think that every destination that creates and bids and wins a mega event has those type of challenges. Now, if I look at Belgrade and the development and the progress it has done, it does seem as a very ambitious program, but it is in a way logical. You've created the new airport, the airline has been growing, and after all, with the new infrastructure that is being built, and of course the huge investment we know into the Sava Center, the main Congress Center, with 120 million, so it seems kind of obvious that you're going forward.
Yes, I fully agree. I think like I said, speaking of dreams and these logical desires, how to move forward. Let's look back, I don't know, at Beijing, where they were 30 years ago, where was Dubai or Abu Dhabi. I'm not saying that, this is our goal or this is, I'm just saying, how many big things you can do in a 10 years time frame. And I think Belgrade has went into very good direction in terms of infrastructural development and some of the things you mentioned as well. For us, the difference between expos and some other mega events like, I don't know, the Summer Olympics or FIFA World Cup is, I wouldn't compare them in terms of, I don't know, impact or the complexity. It's just with the sport events, you always have the sport infrastructure that has to follow. With Expo, every host country is proposing a project which should be what the citizens of that area need. And I think because we are not the richest country in the world, we had to carefully think of the post-use. And I think this was also one of the reasons why our bid was supported, because we had quite a clear post-use of every single thing we are building. So straight after the Expo ends, the new Belgrade Trade Fair ground will be fully operational with one of the most modern facilities in, I would dare to say, maybe even in the entire Europe, but for sure in the Central Eastern Europe. Then we'll have like a museum district with 3 thematic pavilions. We're building a national pavilion. And again, one event space similar to the Sava Center, not the same. But again, I think it has a clear post-use afterwards. And of course, the residential complex, etc. So with Expos, it's a bit different. And I think we have quite a clear post-use plan.
How would you describe Expo in your words, in just 3 words?
Inspiration. This is a tough one. Okay.
This is tough, I know.
This is tough one. For me, it's always inspiration. When thinking of Expo, I'm always thinking about legacy, really, and change.
And change.
Yes.
Very good. What about sustainable organization? We heard from Stephanie all the angles of it, how complex it is. How will you touch this part of the organization?
Actually, it's super complex, and I'm looking forward to discussing further with Stephanie about this. We have some temporary facilities we are building, and I think regarding the infrastructural development and the temporary areas, we have quite a clear idea how, already within the design phase, we thought about how this space will be reused. So, for instance, one entire area will be dismantled and reused for 3 schools and 3 kindergartens. And also 6 gyms for school will be made out of several temporary buildings. But it's not just that, related to the infrastructure. And Gorazd, we discussed today, and I'm really looking forward to continuing this discussion. This is how we basically move the conversation related to sustainability to the international participants, to countries, but also to visitors. And there are so many areas, from managing foodways, to transportation and their behavior on site. And this is something that is actually, under development, I would dare to say. Yeah.
I guess you touched on the participatory engagement, which was already discussed today, and I think you answered another question I had. Because we're running out of time, I will ask you another personal kind of opinion. You started in the academia, and then I see with every step you're getting more and more hands-on, and now you're building a city. How does that feel?
Well, it's very exciting. For me personally, it's just an incredible amount of circumstances that got me into this position. I actually started within the hospitality industry, then moved back to academia. Now I'm shifting in between careers. But I always liked this mixture, and I really like that we have a lot of people that are, undergrads or just a graduate student working for Expo. And yes, I don't know. What is your question again?
How does it feel? Where do you feel more at home? Building a city of Expo 27 or in theoretical concepts of academia? I
always believe that you can't really be a good professor if you don't have hands-on experience. So trust me, I'm still having 2 courses at the faculty, so I didn't left academia. I do it 2 months a year, and I always do it, in the after hours. I'm deadly tired during these 2 months. But I still try to do it, just not to lose this connection, because what academia gave me is it required from me to think in structure. All of the things we do in practice, it requires from you when you have to present, you have to put things in structure to explain and pass on the knowledge to someone. But also on the other hand, you can't really read everything from books and do it in practice. So you have to mix it from my point of view.
Is there any question from the audience? We are running out of time, but if somebody wants to ask something, no? Then we have the last question, which is a short question. Expo Osaka, Expo Dubai. What would you choose?
Well, I still
the big Expo.
Expo Osaka starts this April, so I still have to see. I think both hosts have different ambitions with this project. From my point of view, Dubai had a similar idea, like Belgrade, and that is to reposition Dubai as a center of MENA region. Our ambition is, to rebrand Serbia and the region as a modern, as a progressive region. Osaka already hosted Expo in 1970. Japan hosted an Expo in 2005 in Aichi. So I think for them, and I said this to their media, I said, they of course have different ambitions. If Serbia will host in the future 3 or 4 Expo, maybe we'll have a different ambition. But this is, the first time, so we have to dream big, Yeah.
Dušan, thank you very much for coming. Thank you for unveiling the mystery around Expo. And I'm sure that here in Ljubljana at Conventa and Conventa crossover, we will have the opportunity to follow this story and this incredible development in our region, and a huge mega event, and mega luck. I wish you all the best.
Thank you. I will always be very happy to come here, and thank you once again, guys, for inviting me and for giving me the chance to present.
Thanks a lot, and stay tuned to our channel.